Alright, today we're going to do relay training. Now remember, Relay is our online management platform for our clients. And what this allows our clients permission to do is they get access to all the documents. You girls are required to insert notes at a minimum of twice a week. From there, you're able to email the notes, and actually that is where they are mandated that the notes come from, is Relay, because everything is time and date stamped. You're able to fax from there. We like you to fax from there as well, so that everything is recorded and it doesn't charge open to close anything. So let's start with putting a listing into Relay. We've already put it in the MLS, but we want to put it into Relay and we want to store the documents there. So I am at a website up here, B as in boy, T as in Tom.com. Go over here to existing users, sign in. Our site ID is 15919. Always 15919, unless it's a larger team and they have their own Relay account and you'll have a different login. But the open to close corporate account is that. So let's hit go. And our username is open to close. Password, which you guys should know. Don't want to put that on video. Let's hit sign in. Alright, let's go to create a transaction. So we're going to work with 2507 Bluebonnet. Let's go find that document real quick on our desktop. There is Bluebonnet where we saved the MLS listing before. Make it a little bit bigger so you guys at home can see. 2507 Bluebonnet, Austin, Texas 78704. So let's put in our address. I happen to know the county as Travis. You can upload a picture if you want to. It's a nice little touch, but it is not required. This happens to be a listing. So in this situation, we represent the listing side, but you can also represent the buying side or the listing and the buying side. If we're working for an agent who's representing the buyer, you would end up putting buyer side right there. Again, this is a listing. Our transaction type is going to be listing. If it was under contract and we didn't start until contract, it would be purchase. Or if you're representing the buyer side, it would be purchase. Our start date is today. Our listing date would be per the listing agreement, but for easiness, we'll choose today. We do not have a purchase agreement date because this is not a contract yet. So when we do get that, we'll put that in there. Our listing price, which is really the only other required field, is $199,999. Scroll down and we're going to hit save. From there, let's go to the transaction contacts. Now because this is a corporate account, if you'll notice that because I chose the listing side, the transaction owner is open to close and the listing agent is open to close. So since we're representing the listing agent and they represent the seller, we're on the listing side. So the realtor that we represent and the seller will actually both go as sellers. Because we're on the listing side, we have unlimited fields for the seller. So anybody that's going to be privy to this transaction, say like the title company, the lender wouldn't really be privy to everything, only because we're representing the seller. But if we were going to include them, we list him as a seller too. The only other guest field is the other agent that we don't represent. So if you want them to have access to anything, they're going to have to be listed as a seller. So let's go ahead and add our technical listing agent, Joe Realtor. As a seller, we're going to hit create an account. And we would like for him to upload documents, because if there's something that we need from him, it's a lot easier for him to just put it in Relay than for him to have to upload it to his computer, email it to us, and then we have to save it to our computer and upload it to Relay. So to make our lives easy, let's do that. We don't want to allow note creation though, and I'll tell you why later. So the first name would be Joe. It's going to be Joe, last name is Realtor, and his email is joerealtor@gmail.com. joerealtor@gmail.com. I'm going to enter that twice. The email and the phone are the most important. I don't put a whole lot of other things in there. So his phone is 444-5555. And you do want to change this time zone to Central instead of Pacific. We're going to click a little box here for add to Relay contacts in case he ends up being on another file. This is very, very important right here. This is availability. We only want him to see this transaction. And if he's got 3 going with us at one time, he'll have 3 guest accounts. He chooses his username and password. And what I typically tell realtors to do is make your username always your name, Joe Realtor, and make the password the street name. Or you could just make the username and the password the street name of each listing to keep it separate and easy to remember. But very, very important to put personal right here. Hit submit. And we're just going to confirm all this information. Hit submit. And looky there, we have got Joe Realtor in there, but remember we added him as a seller. Now the other agent we would add when we enter our contract, right here, add an agent. And we'd go through the same process and hit submit, and that would be the agent on the other side. If we represented the buyer's agent, if open to close did, the buyer's agent would go in as actual buyer, and then we'd also enter the buyer as a buyer, so it would almost look like there's 2 buyers. And then the other agent would actually be the listing agent. And it's really important that we include the other agent that we're not doing business with in Relay, so that we impress them and wow them and get their business with our fantastic online management tool and organizational skills. So let's go back to the cover sheet. This is the beginning of our transaction. Right here is transaction contacts, and this shows everybody that's involved in the transaction. From there, let's go to documents. We're going to upload a listing agreement and a seller's disclosure and a survey, everything that we have right now for this listing. So let's hit new document. We're going to hit browse, and let's see what we can find on here to put in. I'm just going to put a dummy document in there. We'll call this a listing agreement. Now this next part is very important. We can choose if the buyer and the seller side see this. Because this is a listing agreement, and we definitely would not want the buyer's side to ever see this once we go under contract, we only want to click this box that's visible to the seller. Now, let's say our seller didn't sign every page on the listing agreement. And I will tell you that for a lot of realtors to get paid, they have to have documents signed and completed in order to get their commission at the end of closing. So we could check this little box right here that says signature required, which would alert our seller that we do still need some information from them. We can also put comments in here like sign page 2 and page 6. Alright, we're going to hit save. It's going to upload our document. There we go. Listing agreement in. Right here it shows that this is hidden from the buyer's side. When you see that X, that's exactly what we want. Now,